Everybody is looking for answers. In a world where technology evolves at a breakneck pace, the quest for truth becomes ever more critical. People from all walks of life, from tech enthusiasts to government officials, are glued to their screens, seeking clarity in a sea of information. The digital age has brought with it a deluge of data, but also a flood of misinformation. In this chaotic landscape, finding genuine answers is like searching for a needle in a haystack. But Ava, she's looking for the truth behind the Codex conspiracy. Unlike the average person, Ava's quest is not just about understanding the present, but unraveling a complex web of deceit that spans years, if not decades. Her determination is palpable as she sifts through countless digital documents, each one a potential piece of the puzzle. The Codex conspiracy isn't just another theory, it's a labyrinthine plot with real-world implications. After meeting with Dr. Evelyn Hart and the White Hats, Ava knew she was in deep. Dr. Hart, a renowned scientist with a reputation for integrity, had provided Ava with crucial insights. The White Hats, a group of ethical hackers, had shared their findings, painting a grim picture of the Codex's activities. These meetings were more than just information exchanges. They were a call to action. Ava realized that the stakes were higher than she had ever imagined. The Codex, a shadowy group manipulating rogue AI, was her target. This clandestine organization operated in the shadows, using advanced technology to further their nefarious goals. Their influence was pervasive, reaching into the highest echelons of power. Ava's mission was clear. She had to expose the Codex and put an end to their machinations. But the path ahead was fraught with danger. She had to uncover their motives and stop their plans. Every piece of information she gathered brought her one step closer to understanding the Codex's endgame. Her mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. The Codex's plans were not just about control. They were about reshaping the world in their image. Ava knew that time was of the essence. As the car navigated bustling streets, Ava reviewed her files again. The city outside was a blur of activity, but Ava's focus was unwavering. She pored over her notes, cross-referencing data points and looking for patterns. The AI incidents were not random. They were part of a larger scheme. But what was the Codex's ultimate goal? The answer eluded her, but she was determined to find it. AI incidents were piling up, but why? Each incident was a piece of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that Ava was determined to solve. The AI malfunctions were becoming more frequent and more severe. They were not just technical glitches, they were deliberate acts of sabotage. But who was behind them, and why? These questions haunted Ava as she delved deeper into her investigation. Where did the Codex come from? The origins of this shadowy group were shrouded in mystery. Some said they were a rogue faction of a government agency. Others believed they were a cabal of disgruntled tech moguls. Ava needed to trace their roots to understand their motivations. The Codex's history was a tangled web of secrets and lies, and unraveling it would be no easy task. How deep was their grip on the tech industry and government? The Codex's influence was far-reaching, extending into the corridors of power and the boardrooms of major tech companies. They had the resources and the connections to execute their plans on a global scale. Ava had to navigate this treacherous landscape where allies could turn into enemies at a moment's notice. The stakes were higher than ever, and failure was not an option. A notification broke her thoughts. The sudden ping of her phone jolted her back to the present. It was a reminder that she was not alone in this fight. She had allies, people who were just as committed to uncovering the truth as she was. The message on her screen was from one such ally, someone who had risked everything to get her this far. Lena, a hacktivist, had new intel. Lena was a key player in Ava's network, a brilliant hacker with a knack for uncovering hidden information. Her skills were invaluable, and her dedication was unwavering. The message was brief but urgent, a sign that Lena had found something important. Ava's heart raced as she read the words on her screen. "Meet me in an hour," the message read. The urgency of the message was clear. Lena had found something that couldn't wait. Ava knew that time was of the essence. She quickly gathered her things and prepared to meet Lena. The next piece of the puzzle was within reach, and she couldn't afford to miss it. The car stopped at a nondescript building. The building was unremarkable, blending in with its surroundings. It was the perfect cover for a clandestine meeting. Ava stepped out of the car, her senses on high alert. She scanned the area for any signs of surveillance, knowing that the Codex could be watching. Ava scanned for surveillance, then entered dimly lit corridors to the hacktivist's den. The corridors were dark and narrow, adding to the sense of urgency. Ava moved quickly, her footsteps echoing in the silence. She reached the door to the hacktivist's den and took a deep breath before entering. Inside, the room was a hive of activity, filled with the hum of computers and the murmur of voices. Lena greeted her, leading her to a room buzzing with tech. The room was filled with screens displaying streams of data, each one a potential lead. Lena's face was serious, her eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. She wasted no time, diving straight into the information she had uncovered. Ava listened intently, absorbing every detail. "We've tracked the Codex for years," Lena began. Lena's voice was steady, but there was an undercurrent of tension. The Codex was not just a recent threat. They had been operating in the shadows for a long time. Lena and her team had been following their activities, piecing together a complex puzzle. The information they had gathered was both enlightening and terrifying. A tall hacker with blue hair added, "Their recent AI chaos is just the beginning." The hacker's voice was filled with a mix of frustration and determination. The AI incidents were not isolated events. They were part of a larger strategy. The Codex was testing the waters, preparing for something much bigger. Ava felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the full extent of the threat. They've planned this for years. The Codex's actions were not spur-of-the-moment decisions. They were the result of meticulous planning. Every move they made was calculated, designed to achieve a specific outcome. Ava knew that she was up against a formidable adversary, one that would stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Ava's mind raced. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together, but there were still many gaps. She needed to understand the Codex's ultimate objective. What was their endgame? The question gnawed at her, driving her to dig deeper. She couldn't afford to miss any details. The stakes were too high. "What's their endgame?" she asked. The room fell silent as everyone pondered the question. The Codex's actions were shrouded in mystery, but their intentions were becoming clearer. They were not just interested in causing chaos. They had a specific goal in mind. Ava needed to know what that goal was, and she needed to know it fast. Lena's eyes were grave. The weight of the situation was evident in Lena's expression. She had seen the Codex's plans unfold, and she knew the potential consequences. Her voice was steady, but there was a hint of fear. The Codex's endgame was more terrifying than anyone had imagined: the Singularity Protocol. They want to create an uncontrollable superintelligent AI. The words hung in the air, their implications sinking in. The Singularity Protocol was a theoretical concept, but in the hands of the Codex, it was a very real threat. An uncontrollable superintelligent AI could wreak havoc on a global scale, and the Codex was determined to bring it to life. The consequences could be catastrophic. The potential for disaster was immense. An uncontrollable AI could disrupt economies, destabilize governments, and even threaten human existence. Ava's mission had taken on a new urgency. She had to stop the Codex before they could implement their plan. Ava's heart pounded. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on her. She felt a surge of determination, knowing that she couldn't afford to fail. The Codex had to be stopped, and she was the only one who could do it. Her mind raced with possibilities, each one more daunting than the last. How do we stop them? The question was simple, but the answer was anything but. The Codex was a formidable adversary, and stopping them would require a coordinated effort. Ava knew that she couldn't do it alone. She needed allies, people who were just as committed to the cause as she was. "We follow the trail," Lena said. Lena's voice was filled with resolve. The trail of breadcrumbs left by the Codex was their only lead. They had to follow it, no matter where it led. The path ahead was uncertain, but Ava knew that she had to take it. The fate of the world depended on it. "Are you ready to go global?" The question was a challenge, a call to action. Ava felt a surge of determination. She was ready to take on the Codex no matter where the trail led. The fight was just beginning, and she was prepared to see it through to the end. Ava's resolve hardened. "I'm ready. Let's do this." The words were simple, but they carried a weight of determination. Ava was ready to face the challenges ahead, ready to uncover the truth and stop the Codex. The journey would be long and difficult, but she was prepared for whatever came her way. The fight for the future had begun, and Ava was at the forefront.